Welcome, everybody, to this week's edition of Valpo Football Weekly, presented by our friends at Lakeshore Bone and Joint Institute. Brandon Vickery with you. Glad to be joined by the head coach of the Valpo football program, Landon Fox, coming off a victory on the road at Marist on Saturday. I'm going to break down some of the key plays in just a moment, but I thought that it was a game of overcoming adversity, whether it was within the context of the season after a few losses, whether it was within the context of the game, a few things, whether it's penalties or not getting a 4th and 1 or not getting an onside kick that didn't go well over the course of the game and being able to overcome all of that. I guess you talk about being a player-led program. Who are some of the guys that you look to in those moments of adversity to lead through that?
Yeah, well, I first think it starts with us as a staff, and the ability to treat each individual game, whether you win or lose, the same. I think that's very, very important because that will trickle down on your players. And so we went through a stretch there that was tough, but you don't approach anything different. Hey, what did you do well? Let's keep doing it, and what didn't you? Let's fix it. So I think that's very important for your players to see, so that they can emulate that as they're going through it. And I thought it started during the week, and you know kind of talk a little bit about this, but I thought we were an angry football team, and angry like in a good way of, hey, kind of tired of what's been happening. Let's fix it. And guys were holding each other accountable. Some of the things that you were saying, being about a player-led team on the practice field, Tyler Eberhardt, you could just see offensively like, hey, this has to be done. It needs to be done the right way. It needs to be done now. Which then carried over into some adversity, just getting to Marist. As you know, Brandon, on the way there, we had some bus trouble, and we get squeezed with time. When we get to Marist, we're probably an hour, right an hour later than we normally are. And so you got all that happening, and the guys' ability to just, hey, here's what's happening. It's no different than if we go out and practice, we stretch, we warm up, and we play. And we did a really good job with that. And probably the guys from being able to hang in there and then still start fast. We started really fast offensively, defensively. We had to get our feet underneath us, and then they played really well. I think the thing that for me concerned me or was disappointing is we did have a chance to put it away. At the time it was 17-14, and you can make it a 2-score game, 24-14, and we got to capitalize on those opportunities.
You didn't put it away on offense, but you did on defense. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about Mark Johnson. He was named the PFL Defensive Player of the Week. Walk me through Marist's final offensive snap. What'd you see on that play? What'd you see from Mark in general on Saturday?
I think the one thing is, going into the game, Marist isn't afraid to, be very aggressive with their play calls. It's 3rd and 1, and they throw the ball twice in that opportunity and kind of give you a little trick play on that 4th down. And Mark did a great job making sure, hey, I'm going to put my eyes exactly where they're supposed to be, have great eye control and discipline, and cover my man versus, hey, I'm going to take the bait on all this movement and motion, this reverse pass. And so he did a really good job, was in a really good position, and was able to knock the ball away.
And on the play before that you alluded to, the 3rd down play, Nick Lino, who was deemed to be the top freshman in the league over the course of the week, had a huge pass breakup. Walk me through that play.
Yeah, it was just one-on-one. I mean, we talked about that all week about guys having to win their one-on-one battles, and that was big. That was something that was talked about all week. And he was able, excuse me, he was able to squeeze his guy into the sideline, create limited space, and then it actually was a really, really good throw. I mean, he put it right on the money, and Nick just came up through his hands, played through his hands, and made a really good play for us.
Michael Mansoray, 135 rushing yards and 2 scores, had a big play early to set a positive tone. How important were his contributions to the win on Saturday?
It's funny that you're bringing these up because these are conversations that we had during the week. Mike and I talked about it like, hey, with Ryan out, you're going to get a load of the carries. And I told him, you get 150, we'll win the game. And if he did get 150, we probably do put it away, and at the end there. And he had a really good game for us. And like I said, it was big that he helped us start fast. Something that we wanted to make sure we did offensively. Because we had been struggling, and so to get us on the board quickly was a big deal for us.
Bye week's always a little sweeter after a win. What's the approach to this week? What's the plan for this week?
Well, it's huge just from a standpoint of like we can get everybody healthy, and you still go back to working your fundamentals and techniques. But everybody knows what's right around the corner. And it's the helmet game. And so that will be a big priority for us in the bye week. And our guys will know that. And so I think that will help motivate us as we have a bye week. And hey, okay, it's just practice. You don't have that game to look for on Saturday, but I think the guys will be definitely be focused because they know what's coming up.
There he is, the head coach of the Valpo football program, Landon Fox. No game this week, but then a big one coming up the following week at Brown Field. We'll be back next week to talk more about that on Valpo Football Weekly, presented by Lakeshore Bone and Joint Institute.